Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to share the reflection today on the Wednesday after the Epiphany. We see in today's gospel the image of the boat. And every time we see in the gospel image of the boat, immediately we should think the church. That is the image of the church, a boat. And the waters that sometimes hit it hard. Those are the different times in history in which the church is attacked, is persecuted. But before we go into that, I think most seminarians have a priest that they admire, that I think they see as the model of the priesthood. I want to be like him. And I think for me is Father Robert Barron, now Bishop Robert Barron, Auxiliary Bishop of Los Angeles. And before coming to seminary, I used to watch his YouTube videos in which he would share insights about the scriptures and review movies and see the Catholic part of our culture. And he was the rector of Mundelein Seminary in Chicago. And he said that for the seminarians, he had this structure, he's called it 3 paths to holiness. 3 paths to holiness, and I would like to share them with you. And using those 3 paths of holiness, we're going to look into today's gospel. First step, find the center in Jesus. Find the center in Jesus. Second step, know you're a sinner. Know you're a sinner. Third step, your life is not about you. Your life is not about you. So those are the 3 steps. Find the center in Jesus, know you're a sinner, and your life is not about you. We look at the gospel today. Find the center in Jesus. And a lot of the gospel, I think, is spent on answering the question, who is Jesus? Even he himself asked his apostles, who do people say that I am? And then he turns the question, who do you say that I am? Catholicism, Christianity is the only religion in the world that wonders, questions, goes deep into the nature of their founder. No other religion wonders, what is the nature of Joseph Smith? What is the nature of Charles Russell? What is the nature of this or my other founder? But only Catholicism looks at the nature of his founder in Jesus, who he is. And we have councils dedicated to the person of Jesus, who he is. Is he a man only or God only? Is half and half? Is he both of them fully? And discussions about who Jesus is. The first step, find your center in Jesus. Once we found our center in Jesus, that we have him at the first place, that place that only belongs to God. Once we love him more than we love anything else, then he puts order to the rest of our things. Find the center in Jesus. And we see here the apostles that very often, and we see them through all the Gospels, what is the center? Kind of their own plan, their own idea of what God is supposed to do, or what the ministry of Jesus is supposed to be. What is the center? In their own mind, in their own ideas, in their own expectations. And what does Bishop Barron invites us to do? Find the center in Jesus. Get to know him. Who is he? Second, know you're a sinner. We see at the end of today's gospel, seems kind of out of place, doesn't it? And their hearts were hardened. They didn't understand the miracle of the loaves and the fish. Today's gospel is right after the multiplication of the loaves and the fish. And after they saw the power of God, they saw him multiply those loaves and fish and me being able to fish 5,000. They still didn't get it. They saw him walk in water and they still didn't get it. Why? Because their hearts were hardened. What does sin do? Sin hardens our heart. The more time we spend on sin, the more time we spend dwelling, the more time we spend away from God, our heart gets hardened. When our heart is hardened, we are unable to listen to the Word of God. We are unable to see Jesus. They said that Jesus walked and they didn't recognize him. Why? The hearts were hardened. If we take a look at our hearts, do we recognize Jesus everywhere? Do we listen to him? Do we see him even in the most common things that happen in our life? Is it perhaps because could be because our hearts are hardened because of sin? So two, know you're a sinner. And the third, your life is not about you. In some of the Gospels, we hear that after the multiplication of the loaves and fish, the people wanted to make Jesus their king. I mean, imagine that a king who multiplies loaves and fish, right away, make him king, and he's going to give us loaves and fish all day. He's going to multiply all our food. This is who we want as king, the one who's going to feed us. But Jesus, what does he do? Sends away the disciples. You go ahead away with me. Because he didn't want the disciples to be tempted to make him king right away. Go away while I dismiss the crowd. So they went on a boat while he dismissed the crowd, and he said, I'll catch on later. Your life is not about you. St. Augustine said that sin caves us into ourselves. That is the image of sin. We cave into ourselves. And we see this in this culture today. You do your thing, I do my thing. You're okay, I'm okay. You're beautiful just the way you are. You have nothing to worry about. It's all about you. As long as you're okay with it, then it's fine. Why? Because we are caved into ourselves. Your life is not about you. So I'll invite you to reflect on these three principles. Find the center in Jesus. Know you're a sinner. And your life is not about you. And may we find God everywhere we go. St. Anthony of Padua,